Welcome to our presentation. We are going to expose the main objectives of the project for the class Biological Signal Processing. We are going to work in an audio recognition system. Our team is formed by Aguilar Gomez Pedro Nicolás, Medina Ramos Luis Alberto, Orozco Magdaleno Luis, and Romero Amaro Jesus Ismael.
Well, the objectives of the project is obtain a database through a program that makes a recording of the following phrases. Good morning, good afternoon, how are you, and where are you? Two, to propose the algorithm of a program through a flow diagram to classify the sentences and the members. It is important at this point to consider a specific neural network model.
Now are going to talk about the importance of voice recognition. Voice recognition has become an alternative input for many users. And at the beginning, the speech recognition systems were created to assist disabled people, especially the blind, and they were available on computers. However, this kind of people that cannot see uh, have been, are over 3 million used in Mexico, according to the INEGI in 2018. And they represent 39% of all the disabled population in the country. However, voice recognition is no more common as this has turned into an standard, for example, in the usage of cell phones, and now they are capable of recognizing words and even sentences. Now, there are some other uses in voice recognition. The main use is for nowadays for voice assistants. For example, those using cell phones, and this allows you to perform all kind of activities such as make online purchases and perform web searches. Voice recognition is also used in data mining, um, especially through these assistants to create robust statistics that allow businesses to predict how the market behaves. Voice recognition also can be used in security systems, as the voice can be used to identify a particular person, and it is combined with other authentication methods to increase the security. It is also possible to take a message, an speech message, and transcribe it into text using this kind of recognition systems. And this is mainly useful when you cannot use your hands.
Now we will talk about the sound, its characteristics, and something about human voice. Next, please. Okay. Uh, it's known that sound is produced by the interaction of a breathing object, a transmission medium, and a receptor. That is, a pressure wave is transmitted through a medium such as air and produce a sensation called auditory by disturbing the state of rest of the structures of the ear. Next, please. So that the sound is perceived by the human being, the object must vibrate with a frequency between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. The vibration produces an alternative uh, compression and reflection of the hair that is transmitted in the sound waves. These waves reach the hair where electrical stimuli are produced that the brain interprets as sounds. Sound waves attenuate with distance and can be absorbed or reflected by the obstacles in their path. Um, the characteristics of the sound are intensity, frequency, and period, tone, and tremor. The intensity corresponds to the amplitude of the sound wave, that is how far the particles move from their position of rest in each period of the vibration. The heart responds to a range of impressive intensities, from the almost imperceptible sound to the pain threshold. And the feeling the sound level is approximately double each time the amplitude of the sound is multiplied by 10. Many sounds have a clear pattern of intensity that varies over time. This pattern is called enveloping. The frequency and the period are two concepts that represent the same physical phenomenon and that are inversely related. They measure, respectively, how many vibrations per second are produced and how many fractions of a second last for a vibration. The units in which frequency is measured are cycles per second or hertz. The period is measured in seconds. The humans are capable of perceiving frequencies between approximately 20 and 20,000 hertz. The Durber corresponds to the set of frequencies that they can find in sound to a greater or lesser extent, as can be seen in the image, the different timbres or doorbells that different musical instruments have. Next, please. The tone, okay. The tone of a sound is directly related to the frequency, although they are not synonymous. Frequency is a physical quantity associated with how sound, while pitch is a perceptual characteristic that we only pick up in periodic sounds, those with a frequency more or less constant. Next, please. The human voice is produced voluntarily through the phonatory apparatus is formed by the lungs as a source of energy in the form of an air flow. The larynx, which contains the vocal cords, pharynx, oral cavities, and nasal passages, and series of articulatory elements, lips, teeth, alveoles, periods of palate, and tongue. Next. Lastly, the human voice range is 250 hertz to 3,400 hertz.
Well, I'm gonna talk about the methodology. As we said in the introduction, we need to do a database with the phrases. In MATLAB, we did a code that record the audio, graph it, and save it. Next, please. Well, the math code, as we see, it's conformed by 3 sections. Next, please. The first section is the audio acquisition section. With the MATLAB object audio recorder, obtaining of the audio is easy. We only need to specify the sampling frequency, the bits, and the number of channels. All recording use the same sampling frequency. Next, please. Verification section. In a variable, we store record audio signal in a numeric array. Also, we plot the audio and show the sound. We can see the plots of the audios. We start with the buenos días or good morning, later the buenas noches or good night, the how are you or cómo estás, and where are you, dónde estás. Finally, we pass to the storage section. In this section, all the audios had to have a different name to be stored as a text files. In this stage, the audio is a numeric vector and we can use it to apply modification in it. As we see it right now, we can see all the storage. We use the Google Drive because we don't wanna lose information or quality in the audio.
For the neural network, we choose to use a competitive network. It is because in these neural networks, the neurons fight each other. There will be only one winner, and that means that there will be only a neuron activation. The neurons will compete in all the layers. This is possible thanks to self-excitation of the neurons and inhibit connections between all the other neurons. This kind of neural networks is used in data categorization and it is unsupervised learning. And it is also used in pattern recognition. We choose Kahonen network that is, as I mentioned, a competitive network in which it uses the Kahonen rule that it allows the weights of a neuron to learn of an input vector. That means that the weights will evolutionate according to the input vectors. It is suitable for recognition applications. They use two layers. The first layer is feedback and the second layer is the recurrent layer. There are two varieties for Kahonen networks. The first is learning vector quantization and the second is self-organizing maps. Here, a specific characteristic of this kind of networks is that it uses one neuron per class, and it is helped by the use of Euclidean distances. Here are the phases or structure of this kind of networks. The first stage is to random the weights, then is to entry a vector to learn for it, then determine the winner of the neurons according to the Euclidean distance or something similar. The winner will be the weight that is nearest to the vector. Then calculate the new weights and repeat the process anytime as we want according to our database. And here we have our flowchart in which we will be using for this project. And first, we will solicit the user to say something. It will be good morning, good night, how are you, and where are you? And then we record it and we will get the data in which we can make some process in order to obtain the frequencies and also the ubication of the centroids of the signal. The amplitude of the frequencies will be used with a Kahonen network in order to select or identify who's talking. In this case, will be one of our team that is Luis Alberto, Luis, Pedro, or Ismael. Then the ubication of the centroids will be used to identify what phrases are we saying. Good morning, good night, where are you, or how are you? And then our system will be able to ask the user if he wants to say another thing. And in that case, we will repeat all the process. And if not, then the system will end. And here are all references, and that's all.
Thank you very much. We hope that you enjoyed the presentation.